level 3, we're going to start building up the defense. We're going to start capturing those zones. We're going to keep doing the quest. We're going to build more troops. Then we're going to level all of the buildings in the city that we can currently build. We're going to level everything to 3. So let's get more tanks building because we should have gotten some from quest. Now that you're level 3, you'll notice that the rebels have started spawning outside the city. Next thing you'll notice is that we now can build turrets. As a matter of fact, you'll have a quest to build some. So let's hit the select all icon, which selects every unit that's visible on the map at the time. With all these units selected, go ahead and hit the attack icon and then select a point on the ground near the village. This is probably a good time to start talking about basic unit commands. The first command that you have is 4 arrows, and it's a move order, and it tells the unit to move to a location, and it ignores the enemy. It won't fight until it actually gets to the location. The next command is an attack order, and there are 2 options once you select attack. The first option is selecting the ground, which tells the unit to move to that location on the ground, attacking any enemy as they come in range. The second option is if you select a unit or a building, it will move in your unit will move into range of that target, and it will start attacking that target, and it ignores everyone else except the target that you selected. The stop order obviously cancels all the current orders and tells the unit to stop. And then the hold position command tells the unit to attack any enemy that enters into its range. And that range varies depending on the unit. Some units have a wide aggro range, and other units have a smaller aggro range. And that's not the range that they fire; that's the range that they respond. And then when the enemy is either destroyed or moves away, that unit will then return back to the original position that it was. And last basic command is to enter a base, and depending on the type of unit, whether there's any transport available, it will enter either an army or an air base. Going back to this example, if you had told these units to attack the village, the infantry would be ignored and they would just drive up and attack the village. But instead, we tell them to attack near the village, so they drive up and attack the infantry as soon as the infantry comes in range, and then once the infantry is dead, they'll switch over and attack the village. That's why I want you to give them an attack order, place it near the village. While your units are attacking the village, you should have new units become available. As this happens, check the health of the village. If the village is almost dead, there's no reason to send them over and help. You can go ahead and start sending them to the next target and let them get started over there. Also, don't forget to check your secondary quests, because as you're killing units and building new things, you'll find that you'll start having quests complete. Speaking of quests, if you notice, one of your quests is to produce Panzer III tank armaments, and then by producing 2, you get a third one for free. Free units are always good, and it's one of the reasons why you want to pay attention to these secondary quests, because it's kind of critical. Going back to the thought that resources are important, any unit you can build for free and you don't have to spend resources to build it, that's a good thing. So we're going to kill that village, and I want you to notice that once the village is destroyed, your shield is gone. This is probably a good time to talk about special unit commands. Infantry have a green icon that gives them the ability to capture. This is for infantry and motorized infantry only. They can capture a zone that's been destroyed. And then tanks have a force march icon, which allows them to increase their speed drastically, but it also increases their supply unit usage, and they can't attack while they're in this mode. So go ahead and capture the village at the same time that you're sending the rest of your army over to start knocking down that second target. With your army at size 12, it should not take you nearly as long to kill the second village as it did to kill the first village. So once that's dead, go ahead and capture that, and then send your army to the third target. One thing you're going to notice when you send your army to the third target is you don't have any scouts over there. So your force marching like tanks will arrive before the scouts reveal the enemy. And this poses you with an issue you need to deal with. That is, when the tanks get there, they will start attacking the building and ignore the tanks, which allows the tanks just to come up and start pounding on them. We don't want this. So take your tanks and then retarget them on the rebel tanks. This will let them knock out anything that's shooting at you and then kill the building at your discretion. When your units are stacked up like this, it can be hard to pick out the one you want, and by this time, those tanks should have been shooting something. So the way you find the unit you want is you look at this little personnel icon on the left, and once you click, it'll open up your groupings. We'll talk about groupings in another video, but for now, this lets you to singly go through and pick out your units, and as you see, I've picked out recon unit number 5. I see that it has some damage, but not near enough to want me to pull it out of the fight. But this is how you can pick units out of a stack like that. Once that building has been destroyed, go ahead and capture the steel.